All right, hello everybody. It's Chris from New Life Games Forum, member Chris SoCal, and a couple of you had asked for some, I think, more detailed or a longer filming of the Million Dice machine or Bonanza Dice machine, whatever your belief is on who made this. Oh, let's make it cocktail hour. That's right. I can do a different video once a week on something, and we'll have cocktail hour. So it's cocktail hour. Today's drink is Captain Morgan and Dr. Pepper Zero. It's really good, by the way. You should try it. So anyhow, I wanted to go ahead and film this in a little bit more detail, even though Dave from the other game forum had already done a video on it. Some of you, I think, wanted to see it rolling some more dice. I'll also take the cover off, open the door, and we'll run the dice mechanism with the cover off so you can see that. I don't know if you'll be able to see the mechanics. I'm filming this in portrait. That doesn't usually go well with YouTube. We'll see how it goes. And by the way, this is the second time I've filmed this, so I'm kind of hunting for my words. I feel like I'm repeating myself. I filmed this, and then I thought it would be a bright idea to set up a light over here behind the camera to light up the hopper or the coin drop area so you could see it. And all it did when I was done filming was I realized it put a big vertical line here of an LED light pulsing that you could see in the camera. It was terrible. So I'm filming this for the second time, and I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. Anyhow, so I pulled about $100 of quarters into the coin drop, and the first time I filmed, it's almost like I could do no wrong, which is to the contrary. You can usually piss away $100 of coins in this in about 15 minutes, pretty easy. I think the odds, I'd have to look at the meters, but I think somewhere between 35 and 60% or something like that. We'll see how it goes. I got some good rolls too, some good examples, and the dice also got jammed to where the automatic jam, the D-jam function, activated a couple of times too, so we got to see that on film. We'll see if I can do it again. The way it works is you can bet 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 coins. The odds are simply terrible compared to the number of times that certain dice numbers are rolled, 7 being the most common. You can bet 2. You can bet a low, which is anything under 7, not including 7, or you can bet a 7. You can bet anything over 7, not including a 7, an 11, a 12, or just take payout. And the option when payout comes when you win is pay or double up. And your choices on double up will be low or high, not including 7. So they decrease your odds even more because 7 is the most likely number to ever come up at any point in a roll. They decrease your odds by giving you the option of high or low. I think somebody online broke down how the odds on it work. I don't completely understand all of that. Some of you guys do a lot better. But so I'm going to go ahead and pause this, reframe it, and then we'll just start throwing some quarters into it and get our fingers dirty. All right, that was a mere second for you, but a few minutes for me. I think I have it framed well. I think you can kind of read the dice. This will read the number rolled here and the win. I paused. Oops, sorry. I paused there because I didn't know what else to say. Okay, I think I have this framed well. If not, oh well, suck it up. Okay, I'm going to just, it rolled a 7, but I'm going to actually, because sometimes 7 will roll twice in a row. Well, anything will roll twice in a row, but 7 being the most common number, it will commonly roll twice in a row. So I'm going to try for 7 again. And we got 9. And as soon as it lights up after reading the dice, you can start inserting coins again. I'm going 5 all in on every one of these. I'm going 7 again. 4. I also waxed the play field and the dice and the sweep arm with carnauba wax just before filming this because the dice flow a lot smoother and it doesn't jam as much and it's quieter. But it's really hard. The instructions even say wax the play field however many hours. I'm trying to envision a whole row of these in a casino and somebody going out and actually waxing the play field and the dice. And that's probably why the original dice are all chopped up. These aren't the original dice. Why they have chunks out of them because they would get jammed and all that stuff. 25 years or 30 years. 9 again. There's our win. So there's our win of 20 credits. Now we could double up with a low or a high, and I'm just going to take the pay so that we can see the coin drop. As I said before, that you never got to hear, this hopper is probably a $500 hopper. That's what I estimate it is. And it's a little bit slower than some of the machines like IGTs and Valleys. The motors aren't as big on it. Or the motor isn't as big on it as they are. Let's go for 11. 9. Now, many times I feel there's 7 again. I feel like I am doing really good and winning, but what I don't realize is that I dumped in $20 of quarters inside of 3 minutes. Every one of these is $1.25. As Dave said when he did a thorough video of his machine, he can't envision anybody that played craps, or anybody actually, looking at the payout opportunity here and spending any time at this machine, because you are just going to throw your quarters away into it. It's really more for the people that would have gone to play it. Would be somebody that walked by it and said, oh, look at that, that's really cool, let me put a couple quarters in and try it. Okay, well, let me try one more time. It's an 8. And after they went through a roll of quarters, how many rolls of quarters were people walking around with in their quarters in the casinos? How many rolls would you have in your pocket that you would get rid of this fast? I can throw $100 of quarters at this without worrying about it, but if I was sitting at it in a casino, of course, I would be at some point saying, okay, 7 hasn't come up in a while. Let's try it. There's 9 again. It's 9 happy today. And we are getting to a point where we're due for a 2. There's my 11. See? Now it's due for a 7. It was throwing 2s and 12s earlier, so I don't know how many times it's going to do it. Out of the next 100. There's our 7. Okay, so our choice is low, high, or take pay. Now, it was hitting us with some big numbers for a while, so I'm going to take a chance that it's going to roll low. Have another cocktail. Oops. Ah, it went high. Lost it all. Is it due for 2? That'll be a big payout if I... It's 2 and 12. Now there's 7 again. 4. I had to do a little bit of work on the hopper because when they put the machine in the microwave stand, whoever said that on New Life Games, you deserve some kind of a bonus. That's fantastic. When they put it in the microwave stand, I don't know what mechanism there would have been. There's something here, something was here that maybe had an arm on it or something that you would press, but quarters would get loaded up in this thing. It would open a little bit too wide for the coin mechanism. The coin mechanism sits sideways. It's not in the door. It sits sideways, and the quarters come in through the side of the machine and drop down. And once in a while, they would flick this lever too far and drop the coin on the outside of the mech, and they would get jammed. So I had to put a piece of foam in there. Now I can feed them almost as fast as I can stick them in there. They'll run through. Well, while I have the door open, let's take this off. I'll get out of the way of the light. It's like a pinball machine. It's 10 times louder without the cover on. So the motor for the sweeper arm is up here. It has a cam over here, a triangular cam that hits these 3 micro switches that are around its perimeter. There's another micro switch down here and another one over here. This thing is micro switch happy. It's like a pinball machine. But amazingly, after all these years, they all still work. It rotates around, and then if a dice gets stuck to where they're one in front of the other, it will detect that, because I think the sweep arm is blocking that one bulb, and it will tell it, hey, it's blocked, and it'll pull the sweeper arm back, activate motor number 2 back here, which rotates an arm that comes up and pushes the dice out of being stacked. So it's pretty genius. So you can maybe see that part of the mechanism. So this box, there's 3 circuit boards in the machine. There's one on the bottom of this box down here that decodes the IR bulbs. I'm assuming they're IR bulbs. They detect that the pips are blocking. There's little holes drilled in here, and the bulbs are underneath. And when it detects which pips are blocking light, and it then knows, well, if it counts 5, it knows to reply mathematically 2. And there's a little solenoid there that punches, makes the dice roll. So there's a circuit board down there that decodes that, and it also has an optocoupler on it that runs the optocoupler runs this motor, and there's the main computer board back here that does all of the gameplay. It has the transistors for the bulbs, all of the incandescent bulbs that were in here. You may have noticed that when it resets the lights on a row, it gives a quick flicker. That's because I replaced most of the bulbs with LEDs. Every row has one incandescent in it, so it helps reduce the flicker. I'm sure there's a way to put a capacitor or something in the row to eliminate the flicker altogether. I still need to look at that. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 4, 28. And then there's 2, 4, 6, 7. No, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 7 down here, 3 here. And then every one of the buttons here had 2 incandescent bulbs in them, and I replaced them with 1 LED. Oh, it threw an error, so it knows somebody's diddling. It has a light sensor that will tell it if somebody's shining light in there trying to fool the dice into being read wrong. But I have it desensitized. I think that's what this pot is on the board. I turned it down a little bit, so now I can shine a flashlight on there and it doesn't care, so I think I have it desensitized. Oh, I got distracted. Squirrel. There's a third circuit board down here that runs the hopper. That one and the motor that runs the sweep arm has an old style optocoupler on it, the kind that had a light bulb cast in it. And I couldn't find any, so I talked to Alan at Kalar, and he sent me a circuit that he designed to replace old style optocoupler with new LED style optocoupler. You have to use one of those little 4-leg or 6-leg devices, and I'll put a resistor in line, and there's something else you have to do with it. I can't remember exactly what, maybe a resistor and a diode, or I can't remember how it works. But anyhow, I had to replace the one that controls the sweeper arm motor because it wasn't working at all. That was one of the problems with the machine. The one running the hopper still manages to work. Okay, so back to it. Yeah, I probably have about $50 of quarters left. Let's get rid of those, if you haven't fallen asleep yet. There's my 7. So if I bet like high, okay, that's high. Dice stuck. Sweeper arm, and okay. So now I can high, low, or pay. I can bet that it's going to be low. Nope, 9. But I think I mentioned this before in my other video. One time, when I didn't have a lot of quarters in it, I kept winning. And I kept doing the double up, trying to lose because I didn't have enough quarters in the hopper. Well, it finally got to a point where it said, you can't double up anymore, you have to pay. It was 425 coins. And so I had to keep moving quarters into the hopper. That's when I decided I've got to have a lot of quarters in this thing. It's the only time I ever won that big. Here's my 11. Okay, so let's try, let's pay. That's 60. Have a drink of your cocktail. Uh-oh. Something happened to the hopper. I don't know that I've ever seen that happen before. Maybe when I took quarters out, I jammed it. There we go. We're doing really good tonight. We're actually getting payouts. I have gone through $100 worth of quarters and only had a handful of lucky hits. You can sit here and go, oh, let's bet 11, and it'll give you a 2, and then you say, okay, and it'll give you another 2. So then you say, okay, it's time for 12, and you start betting 12s, and it starts giving you 2s again. Ah, there's 2s again, see? And that would have been a 120 coin payout. So is it due for a 12? It's due for a 6, evidently. Okay, well, I think that's about all I can tell you about this tonight. You can see how I could go through quarters really quickly on this. I'm scooping almost a roll of quarters every time I do this. It's due for a 7. Oh, I missed out on a row. It doesn't have a coin reject mechanism. If you press the button while it's feeding the quarter, it just eats your quarter. Sorry, sucker. I'm sure modern gaming rules would forbid that from happening. That flicker going on. If anybody knows how to get rid of that LED flicker when it shuts the circuit off, let me know. I'd like to try some stuff. It's got to be due for an 11 or a 12. There's 11. There we go. Now let's try to double up. Ooh, low. Yeah, we just doubled to 72. I'm taking that. All right, there's steel fingers. I actually wash my quarters before I put them in a machine so that I know that the grime I get on my fingers is metal, steel, copper, whatever it is, and not grime. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and if you fell asleep, wake up. There you have it. That's my game for tonight. Maybe next week or next month we'll play some... We'll look at a pachinko machine. Sound awful? Deal with it. Okay, one quick addendum here, because I realized after I got done filming that I really should have shown the circuit board that was in there. And this, basically it's an old printer cable that they used to go from the computer board down to the power distribution box and the hopper controller. And there's the board, the computer chip, and, you know, I don't actually know where the game data is. Oh, there's the EEPROM. I should probably capture that. There's the hopper, right? No, gee, I said hopper earlier, too, in the video. You were probably yelling at me. That's not a hopper, it's a coin mech. There's the coin mech. And you can see how it, when every quarter drops through from this trough, it... by weight hits this thing, but if 2 quarters come down too fast, that thing opens up wider than the coin mech and drops a quarter or 2 directly on it. So I shoved a piece of foam and adhered a piece of foam up in there that doesn't allow this to open any wider than 1 quarter. Once in a while, every 300 or 400 quarters, it will get one jammed, but not very often. And then I realized, too, that you couldn't see the panel of the bulbs. It's kind of reminiscent to the back of a pinball machine, all of the incandescent bulbs that were in it. The amount of heat that was generated in here was insane before, and I added a fan to the, I don't want to say voltage regulator, because there's a 5 and a 12 regulator here, but the voltage, the power controller, the big silver IC. I put a fan on that exhausting, and then I put an exhaust fan up here that on the back of the microwave stand. It blows out a little bit of the air up there, and so it's probably maybe 85 degrees in here, so compared to the 110 degrees or whatever it was before, much better. And so it hasn't had any overheat problems since I did that at all. So, and then down here on the board is the whistle thing, the whistler. I don't know what you call that thing, chirper or whatever. Then there's a reset button down here, which we saw to reset the hopper payout. And there's another reset button up here called an unlock switch. And I don't really know what it does. I'll have to go to the manual and see what it says that one does. I thought that unlocked the hopper. But anyway, there's the inside of the machine with the game box out, and you can see everything inside of the microwave stand. Okay, that's it. Last addendum, farewell. And I lied, one more. Here's the side of the box while it's out. This is the right side, left side. Here is the cam that hits the micro switches to tell it where it is. And then this is the sweeper arm mechanism. It's kind of self-driven when the cam rotates. The spring on the other side allows this to just plop back, so it's spring-loaded, and then this rotates and pushes it back. So it's kind of opposite of what you think. It's not driving it back. This rotates, and the load of the spring flings this back, and then this drives it back to the front. So it flings to the back under spring pressure, and this loads it back to the front slowly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side and 1 on the other. And then there's the other motor in the back for the anti-jam mechanism. Okay, promise, last addendum.